Now let's cross to Canberra and catch up with the Liberal MP for the seat of Curtin in Perth, Western Australia. Her name is Celia Hammond. Thanks for joining us, Celia. You, of course, took over from Julie Bishop in that seat. One of the things that I know Julie Bishop really loved about holding the seat of Curtin is, of course, that it's the home of the SAS regiment, those proud soldiers, so many of whom have risked their lives and, in fact, lost their lives fighting for freedom on behalf of Australia. And that really concerns you, the current allegations about war crimes, the way it's played into the public debate and the way it impacts on those soldiers and their families.
Yes, Chris, lovely to be here with you. Like Julie, I love the fact that we're the home of the SAS in Australia. They are members of our community and they have been for a very long time. Their families are part of a vital part of our community. And the Brereton report, recently released, has had an enormous impact on the SAS community, on their families, and it's heartbreaking. I've been contacted by people with anger, sadness, despair. It is really quite confronting.
And we've got to worry about the mental health of those people, especially the soldiers and veterans. And you made a wonderful speech about all this in Parliament on Monday night. Congratulations on that. But you, of course, accept that there is damning evidence against a number of soldiers. There's no criminal allegations as yet, much less any verdict in court. But you don't wash that away. The problem is those allegations being used to tarnish all SAS soldiers, or even worse, all ADF personnel across the country.
Absolutely, Chris. The allegations which have been made are disturbing, and I think everybody agrees with that. There is no challenge to the fact that some of the things that have been alleged are distressing, are disturbing, and in some cases just beyond comprehension for people who've not been in a war-like situation. But the allegations must be put in context, and we have allegations, as I understand it, against less than 30 personnel at this stage. There are over 3,000 people who were awarded the Meritorious Unit Citation, and to conflate the allegations, not to say that those allegations must be looked at, justice must be done, but they are still allegations, and to tar everybody who's been associated with the SAS and with the Special Operations Task Group is really wrong, in my opinion.
Just to amplify that point and your feelings on it, let's have a look at how you wrapped up your speech in Parliament this week.
We must avoid, at all costs, a situation where our defence forces are universally demonised, where they are considered as a monolithic, indistinguishable group to which we can give some generalised characterisation or label. Because they are not. They are individual men and women who serve and sacrifice for us. And ultimately, it must never be us versus them, because they are us.
Yeah, well said. It shouldn't need saying, but it certainly does in this context. Now, you say this Meritorious Unit Citation should remain with any soldier, of course, who's not been convicted. The innocent soldiers, living and dead, should maintain that citation. The ADF, in other words, should back off on efforts to strip that from everyone.
Well, I think any statement or any consideration that it should be stripped of everybody is far too early in the piece. I don't think that the whole process has still got a long way to go, Chris. And yes, I don't think it should be stripped from people who've done no wrong. The regulations that have been put in place, the letters patent for the Meritorious Unit Citation, clearly envisage that it can be taken away from individuals. So I've heard the arguments that have said it goes to a whole regiment or it goes to a whole group of people, therefore if there is wrongdoing it must be taken away from everybody. That's not entirely true, and if you look at the regulations and if you look at the letters patent, it clearly allows for it to be taken away. It's for sustained, outstanding service. And as I say, if there's allegations against 30, and if those allegations are proven in a court of law, there are still 2,970 people who have been awarded that, plus, I would say, more than 2,970 people who deserve it. And so I think it is about putting it in context and putting it in balance. The allegations which have been made If they're proven, they're horrific. Let's not take away from that. And the good men and women of the SAS who actually blew the whistle on this and wanted it investigated, they need our protection and our support as well. But let's not tarnish all of them for what a few may have done.
Did the chief of the ADF go too far by apologising to Afghanistan, by revealing so many details about the allegations and forgetting the basic precept, of course, that people are innocent until they're proven guilty?
Look, Chris, I don't want to comment on what the chief of the ADF did or did not say. I really want to respect and respond and advocate on behalf of the people in my community. And I'd have to say it's not just the SAS families or vets that have been contacting me. Our community loves the SAS. We have over 1,000 vets that live in my part of the world. And the people that are currently serving, look, honestly, they're the first people to stand up and help other people in need. I've got families that go to my kids' schools, and when other families get in trouble or strife and a call goes out that, you know, help needs to be provided to them, I swear it is the SAS families that are the first to step up and to do that. Likewise, when the COVID restrictions were lifted in Western Australia and a number of our local businesses had, shut down for a couple of weeks, the SAS men and women actually booked out cafes for lunches when it was lifted so that they could go and support those local businesses, spend their money and help them get back on their feet. This is what the SAS Defence Forces, these men and women in our electorate do. And they don't seek praise for it. They're just, and half the time you don't know who they are. But they're just remarkable people. And as I say, everybody in my community is firmly behind them and firmly supports them.
Well, good on you, Celia Hammond, for giving that context. And thanks for joining us. First time we've spoken on the program. Hope we catch up again.
Thanks, Chris.